What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus G15 Advantage gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna try out some Alan Wake 2. We're gonna try it at 1080p. Well, I'm gonna try it at 1080p, like off camera and everything, do what I usually do and try and find the best settings, but I have a feeling we're not playing at no native resolution at 1080p or 1440 for this one, but hey, maybe it'll surprise me. Now, I know the game has ray tracing baked in no matter what you do, so even if I turn off path tracing, which we're just not even gonna try, that'll be like, what, 9 to 10 FPS? No thank you. And the game didn't even run on the Ally, so it probably won't run on the Steam Deck or the Ally since both of them have only 16 gigs of RAM, and it said it wouldn't even launch. It wasn't even just a, hey, it might not run good. It was like, no, you need more than 16 gigs of RAM. Screw you, you're not playing. So I was like, okay, I guess we're not trying it out on the Ally. But I called it in the video too. It probably was gonna run like garbage in any case. So let's see how it runs on this guy. Hopefully it'll be able to run at least halfway decently, but let's stop blabbing and let's get into the game. So first up, I figured we would try and run it at native 1080p. And then if that doesn't go so well, we'll try these settings with some FSR, which is probably going to be necessary, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't really know what to expect here. I know we're not going to do no ray tracing, at least not in this video. If anybody wants to see that, I don't mind doing that later. I just figured that was going to be a total just crapshoot, you know? But in any case, that's the bottom, so let's go see how it does here at native 1080p with these settings. Well, now here we are in the game, and it seems like we're just right at around the 60 FPS mark, so almost can guarantee we will drop under a tiny bit, maybe down to like mid-50s or something like that. Yep, 53 right there. That's low 50s. I was expecting like maybe 55, 56, but that was going in between things. There's some 56. And then keep in mind, this is with no ray tracing, of course.
Hey, over here. Hey there. Agent Casey, right? Sure,
you got it.
Said you'd be coming by to take over the case.
You're half right. Anderson?
Saga Anderson. I'll be leading this case. Seems you already know my partner, Alex Casey.
Shoot. Sorry about that, ma'am.
So, definitely not completely unplayable by any means, but we can't quite stay at 60 the whole time either. So if you want that 60 all the time, at least at 1080p, we're going to have to go ahead and use some FSR, but we'll get a little bit more gameplay in here first before we move on to FSR. No, they're with you. What are you talking about?
Were there any witnesses?
Yeah, a couple out-of-towners. I wonder what they were doing sneaking around the woods at night. Not that we have anything against city folk, right, Thornton? But don't worry. Sheriff Breaker took them back to town a while ago.
All right.
What can you tell us about the crime scene?
Tell them about the heart. I was getting to that, Thornton. Well, we reckon there are some organs that are currently outside the victim's person when they should be, but you know, inside.
Yes. That is generally where organs are.
I want to see the body. How do we get there?
Oh, sure, that's real simple.
Couple organs
Just
show,
through the
but
hole
most
in the
of them are
fence,
inside.
Down the hill towards the lake, around the old convenience store. You can't miss it. Everything's been closed since the area was fenced off. The store, the campground, all of it.
All of it.
Tell them I'm here waiting. I'll show them around.
They got it, Thornton.
All right. Let's mosey on in here a little bit.
Before we get to the crime scene, there's time to review the facts of the case so far. Make sure I'm seeing the clues clearly.
Oh, it's not going to let me, like, just bypass that, huh? I guess it's going to force me into that.
The mind place.
The mind
version of
place.
The mind palace technique. To sift through clues and work the case.
Well,
Building
if
the
it's
mind
going to make
place
me go
again
through
for
all
each
this stuff, I'm going to go
Using
ahead
each
and
field
move on to
office as a
FSR
mark
then.
line.
Well, now let's do some FSR 2, and we're going to do FSR Quality, which is apparently 720p when you're at a base of 1080p, so let's just go through the settings again. They are the exact same settings as they were before, too. All we're doing is really just turning on FSR, but still wanted to show you guys that there's no other funny business going on. Everything else is the same. No ray tracing, none of that stuff. So, with that said, let's get back into the game. Alright, so now we got FSR on quality. Same settings as before otherwise, and bam, look at that. In the forest, which is supposedly the hardest to run place from what I was seeing and reading. We're doing just fine. Now, I think in town would be a better place to test ray tracing if I was going to do ray tracing, so if anybody does want me to do that, I don't mind. I just figured that this thing's probably not going to handle that very well. And even with FSR help, we might be able to get 30 FPS. Path tracing? No, that's just not happening at anything other than like maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 FPS if we're lucky.
Real funny, Anderson.
Now, I will try all that on my desktops just for fun, because they're both pretty much as good as they can be. I mean, the AMD obviously could have a 7800X 3D in it, but
You okay to
or
jump
it could
down?
just have a regular 7000 series CPU and, you know, be a little tiny bit better in the CPU department, but I really don't think at ultra-wide resolutions that 5800X 3D is holding it back in almost anything, at least not getting 60 FPS plus anyway. Though preferably I'd like 100 FPS plus on my desktops, but that's just me, again. Just because I like having things be at that does not mean everybody has to. Hell, a lot of people probably are alright with 30 FPS in this game, as long as you can turn the eye candy up. Alright, let's walk down here, but yeah, see what I mean? We're using about, like, 10 gigs of RAM. Yet, I couldn't even test this game on the Ally because it said it needed 16 gigs. Yet, we're only using 10. So, I don't know. Maybe it was some setting I have. Maybe I can't have that, like, 6 gigs of VRAM option on for this game or something. Maybe it's as simple as that. I'll have to go fiddle with that and see if I can't get it to run.
Not a bad place to get murdered.
But I don't think the Ally would play this game too well anyway. But I was hoping maybe it could at least get 30 FPS, maybe at 720p or something like that. But I'll mess with that a little more. But for now, all I got for that video is a damn stupid warning label saying you have to have more than 16 gigs of RAM to play this game. We're not even going to let you try, now get out of here. So, I guess that is one of those bonuses about having one of those handhelds that has 32 gigs or 64 gigs of RAM. People laughed and scoffed at that, but hey, I would have at least been able to try if I had that, you know? Since it does need the RAM for the VRAM and all that good stuff. It's all interconnected. Oh, yeah, we got that FSR shimmer going on. It's not as bad as usual, though.
Deputy Thornton, I take it.
That's me, at your service, ready to get this case solved. Now the body's behind the store. Come on, I'll show you.
All right, well, let's go look at some bodies.
So, FBI, huh? That's so cool.
Or actually, probably should move on to camera now, but I think I'm going to have to restart the game. Usually if I try to just unplug it, it just freezes the game or makes it run at terrible FPS. Well, alright, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay here with a combination of FSR and my settings that I had for native. Seems to run pretty damn good. It doesn't really look too bad. It's got little stutters here and there when you do stuff like that.
I think I hear someone.
And the woods, from what I hear, is one of the hardest places to run, so I figured since we start there, why not start the recording there? If I started in the city or whatever, I was basically just going to wait and start recording there, but hey, this kind of worked out in my favor. The only thing that kind of sucks is this guy kind of takes up a bunch of time. Now what I should have done is I should have just paused the dang recording or screen recording portion to get through him real quick. But we'll just go through this guy real quick here. And see, look at that, my CPU's getting all the way up to 98. Although, I don't know, did I turn this up all the way? No. I can get up a little faster, but I don't think that's going to make the CPU drop from 98 down to 96 again, you know? So, I do have my cryo sheets to install on this thing to see if I can't bring that back down to at least what I had it at when I got the thing. That's all I want anymore. I just want it to go back to what I had it. I was foolish to ever try to, go and make it better. But I saw a couple posts of some people doing better, and I figured, well, I'll try too. And it just didn't pan out for me. Luckily, it seemed like I helped a bunch of other people get better attempts by doing what I did. Liquid metal is just can be a hard thing to do. I guess I was better at it with the CPU stuff. I delidded a bunch of people. I think I've delidded like 10 or 11 CPUs so far. Alright, let's just go look at the body. We don't need to do any of this other stuff. We already did that the other day. So I'm not going to waste any more time here. I was already wasting enough talking and doing nonsense.
I want to go back. How do we get there?
I go through the hole.
The whole list of things to do is make sure I'm staying as close as possible.
Alright, and now at least I know I don't have to actually do much here. They're just showing you how to get to the screen right now. I thought I was going to have to sit there and do a bunch of work the last time I stopped the video when we were doing native. Native was close to being playable. I'm sure native is actually playable for a bunch of people. This time I decided to do native 1080p just to show people, because I remember people were curious how, Lords of the Fallen ran native, even when I just did my settings with FSR, so I figured we'd kill two with the birds of one stone and just at least get it out of the way. But it did a lot better than I thought it was going to do, at least at 1080p. So you move around like that, zoom like that, move the cursor. Alright, and we can exit now. We're just warning you, hey, if you are doing that stuff and there's enemies about, they will kill you. Pretty nice view, though. And in classic FSR fashion, it doesn't look that bad. The only problem is it still has that damn shimmering nonsense going on. I'm kind of curious how DLSS is going to run. And I also have frame generation to try to test out also once I get to my main computer.
Why not?
And the other problem is when you have this cooling pad under there, you can't really hear your game with the internal speakers. Unless you put them way up to almost 100%. And as you guys know, I don't really like putting stuff up to 100%. At least not things like speakers. Fans, I don't really like it either. It runs at 100%, if someone's running 100, it's going to wear out a lot quicker than if it's running at like 70% or 60%. So I got the speakers at 75, but this foam padding stuff, I think, muffles it because they're down-firing speakers. So that is one of the downfalls to that thing. But yeah, it's running pretty good. Good smoothish frame times when you're just walking around anyway, so that's at least good.
Not bad. Great for an artist.
Shoulda. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. So when I do 1440p, I will also try native as well. Although that one probably won't be quite as great. That one will probably be more like a 30-40 FPS experience. With the right settings even. Because I noticed a lot of settings don't do much as far as frame goes. A couple are good for a frame or here and there, and that's why I still didn't go back in and just turn a bunch of stuff up. But anyway, we have got back to this guy again, so why don't we go ahead and call it and end the video here, and then we will do 1440p next. So, let's go wrap the video up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Alan Wake 2 at 1080p here on the Asus G15 Advantage, and it didn't do too bad, at least in the forest area, and as far as I was told, that is one of the hardest places to run, so if it runs well there, it'll probably run well anywhere, at least as long as you're using my settings with FSR quality, which is 720p. At least it tells you what the resolution it is. It didn't do too bad at native, though. I mean, it was still dropping down to like 54, 53 at times, and then during some of the cutscenes, it was dropping all the way down to like 47 for like a split second. That was just really strange, but in any case, very playable for some, I'm sure. Not everybody's like me and wants to have 60 FPS. In fact, I think this game's only 30 FPS on the consoles, at least if you want like the decent graphics settings. Like that's what's been happening a lot with games like this recently. They're just limiting them to 30 if they can't quite hit 60. But they might have a performance mode where they can hit like 60, but it's probably gonna have to do what I do. If I have to run it at 720p to get settings like that, the consoles would probably have to run that at frickin' 640p or 540p or something like that with even lower settings than I've got. But it's still, at least they can run them. And they're $400, $500, so not too bad. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm sitting here trying to rip on consoles all the time, but I'm just more of a PC guy. I like being able to tinker. But most people just want to slap the game in and say, all right, let's do this. Anyway, though, I'm going off on a tangent here, so let me go get started on the 1440p version of Alan Wake 2 here for this laptop. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.